If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Game night's fun until someone spends 5 minutes lining up one shot. Chalk, breathe, re-chalk, still aiming. While they figure it out, I fire up Chumba Casino. I can spin anywhere, anytime, and there's always a new social casino game every week. Spins happen way faster than that shot. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
There are heroes and there are legends. Heroes come and go. Legends never die. We usually say that you cannot become a legend before death. These are living legends. If the legends fall silent, who will teach the children of our ways? Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 5, brought to you by Titan Sensor, is proud to present The Legends. Sun Coaches is proud to partner with Titan Sports for the next 4 seasons on Sun Coaches Podcast. Titan GPS delivers technological superiority and improved player performance through wearable GPS made for high school football and strength and conditioning. From speed training to athlete recruit to workload enhancement, Titan is the easy-to-use yet comprehensive GPS tool to get it done. There's no minimum to get started, and Titan will walk you through every step to success. Message us on X at Titan Sensor to learn more and get in touch. Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 5, the Legends Series, and to end up our series, there's nobody better to do it with than the legend himself. He's in the National Football Hall of Fame. He's in the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. He's the winningest coach in the history of the state of Georgia, Coach Larry Campbell. Thanks for being on with me.
My pleasure, Chris.
Well, Coach, I know that you grew up in Abbeville, South Carolina. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And where'd you go to high school?
I went to Calhoun Falls High School, which is in Abbeville County. So, Abbeville's got a pretty good record of their own going right now for state championships and this, that, and the other. But that record there is being held by a friend of mine, was Dennis Botts, but he passed away. But he had won about 4 state championships over at Abbeville when he passed away. But I didn't. He and I both went to Calhoun Falls High School.
So what all did you play in high school? Weren't you a 4-sport letterman?
I was, such as I wasn't great in any of them. But, yeah, I was able to do that. But that's about it. But I wasn't no star. I was just a participant.
You played football, baseball, basketball, and ran track?
That's right. Correct.
And then did you get a chance to go play any of those sports after high school?
Yeah, I did. I got to play baseball in junior college and then thought I was good enough to play at the University of Georgia, but people like Charles Winflet beat me out. I was on the same tryout team with Winflet, but Winflet was a little better in most sports than I was. So, but I played baseball at Georgia with him for a short period of time.
So you ended up going to the University of Georgia. Did you know you wanted to teach and coach when you went there, or did you?
I did. I came through the school knowing what I wanted to do. Sure did. Never changed my mind.
Oh, that was good. I didn't know if I didn't know if you got in the wrong line, or if you just always knew you wanted to teach and coach.
Nah, I didn't know that I would be in football forever because baseball was more of my background. But when you come to Lincoln County, I found out in a hurry you better know something about some football. They'll run you out of town quick. So thank goodness I worked under a good man, Thomas Bunch, who's passed away now, but he was a good guy to learn a little more than just football. And he had a lot of impact on my career.
So you went to Lincoln County as a baseball coach, correct?
I did. They were hunting a baseball coach here. They didn't have a baseball program. That's the reason I came primarily, because it was one of the few places I could get a head coaching job in baseball right away. And I served as an assistant, I think about 3 years, and then was named the head coach.
So as an assistant coach, what all kind of things did you have to do back then as far as to help?
You name it. We didn't have but 2 assistants, myself and the head coach. So I had to do it all, from watering the field with the irrigation system to you name it. Back then, we polished the kids' shoes and did this, that, and the other. So I came up in a program that, had had a lot of success before I came here. Buddy Buffett being one of them, and of course Thomas Bunch being the other one. But I never got to work with Coach Buffett, but I know his family well. But Coach Bunch was a key part of my life when I came here, and he got a lot of things started. I just happened to be lucky enough to continue.
So you became, after 3 years, you became the head coach at Lincoln County, and then was the head coach there for 42 years? 40.
That's correct. That's correct.
And the first year was the only losing season you ever had there, wasn't it?
I think that's right. I think that's correct.
And then
the first season I was here was like 3-7, and the next year we played for it all, I think. Got beaten Tron, I think, if my memory serves me right.
That's right. That is right. So 41 straight years of winning is that's amazing.
Well, thank you, Con. That's due to a lot of people other than myself.
Well, yeah, I understand that. It's still just the math behind it is, it's just incredible. And just to think, especially this day and time, the fact that you were able to spend your entire career in one place, that had to be pretty special too.
Well, it was, and I much didn't want to move, because I had a few opportunities to move early in my career. Then I think folks just quit asking because they figured he was going to stay in Lincoln for his life. And it has been good to me. I'm from a small rural town, and Lincoln, of course, is a small rural town. They love their football here as much as anybody. So it was a good fix for me, and I sure have enjoyed my years here. And my wife and I make this home, being originally from Carolina, but my daughter lives here up above me and teaches school, and my son's a assistant school superintendent in Columbia County, and that's right below us. So we get our whole family has kind of grew up in this area and stayed here.
Well, that's fantastic. Anytime you can be around your family, that's got to be a great thing. I remember when I interviewed with you, and you showed me a house. You showed me 2 houses, actually, and you said, you're going to live in one of them 2 houses. And you said, and every night at 7 o'clock, and Coach, I swear I get goosebumps when I think about it and tell the story. You said, and every night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to come by and I'm going to make sure you in that house. And I kind of looked at you funny. And you said, because I'm going to make sure you spend time with your family, because when I was your age, I thought winning football games was more important than spending time with my kids. And it ain't. Question. And you said, I'm not going to let you do that. If you do, I will fire you. Yeah. And that wasn't the first thing you told me that day. If I did not do, you would fire me. But that was one that stuck with me. That was very important. And we never taught football, but I'll never forget that you made it a point to say you're going to be a family man.
Oh, there's no question. I was not fair to mine. Without a doubt, but my wife loved football as much as I did, so that worked out fine. My children were not as involved in football. My son didn't even play football, but he was a smart one in the crowd. And
that's why he's the assistant superintendent.
That's the reason he became assistant superintendent. Well, he was my boss. He was superintendent here for a while, and then the money of Columbia County drug him away from us, but. It's been a pleasure letting our children grow up here and seeing them do well.
Oh, absolutely. And you've won 11 state championships. There's no way to quantify or, put one above the other. But let's talk about the first one just a little bit, if you can remember just what it was like winning that very first one. You played for it your second year, but winning the first state championship, do you remember what that was like? I mean, I know it was an expectation, but
you'll have to help remind me.
It was 74, I think.
Yeah.
And y'all beat – who did y'all beat?
I'm depending on you to help me out. I'm the one that's
no.
No.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember who y'all beat for that first state championship. It was close.
I thought Tryon beat us.
Oh, no, that was the first one you played in. That's right, in 74.
Yeah.
That was the first one you played for. The first one you won, because y'all went back to back.
Uh-huh.
I think it was 74, 75.
5.
Y'all went back to back, or it might have been 75, 76. But anyway, y'all won so many doggone state championships. I don't even know how you kept up with them while you were doing it.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, Chris. It really was. My memories, I guess most folks pushing 80s, is beginning to slip a little bit. So I can't remember all of them. I had something in front of me. And all I got in front of me right now is the Masters Golf Tournament on right at us. So it's on, and my memory is not all that great, but I do remember playing Tron at some point early and losing.
Right.
I think that was like 74.
And that made you want to get, obviously you wanted to get back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question about it.
Once those kids got a taste of it, I'm sure it wasn't hard to motivate them to get back.
Well, thank you so much.
So what, in the early days, because you coached there for so long, I know Washington Wilkes has always been a big rivalry game for Lincoln County, but what were some other, you told me off the air before we got started that when Louisville, before they consolidated into Jefferson County, that was a big rivalry game. Oh,
it was. Steve Pennington was the head coach then, and we played on numerous occasions for the region championship. And a lot of times I played him for the region championship, and Steve had the second best team in the state. He was our toughest competition, playing for the region title.
That's
sure
amazing.
Was.
Were there other teams that I know Monticello was good back
Monticello
then.
was good. Monticello never was fortunate enough to beat us, but Monticello used to give us some good games. Jimmy Jordan, I believe, was the head coach there back during the years of their good years. So, we had a good rivalry with them. And then actually, Rennes was not bad football. That was all before all of them surpassed into one county school, became Jefferson County. You had Rennes, and you had Louisville, and you had Wadley. And they all joined forces to join Jefferson County. And Jefferson County's program probably hadn't been as good since they did join as they were when they all were in single A.
It's funny how some places do that, where they think that if they put everybody together, they'll have, if they're one big school, it'll be better than just leaving them. Like America Sumter consolidated, and Waycross and Ware County consolidated, and it seems like it takes them a long time to get a handle on that, because everybody has their individual, their own identity as their little town school.
We never had that problem here, Carl. It's for sure. It's for sure they weren't going to join Lincoln County and Wilkes County, so we never did have that problem. Sure
and
did.
Y'all are what, 12 miles apart or 20 miles apart? It ain't far.
No, it isn't. It's 14 to 15 miles max.
And then with some wars.
Oh, yeah. I used to call it 378 War. Sure was. But they had some good football teams, especially when Coach Butch Brooks was there. Butch and I had a lot of good football games under our belts.
Yeah, there were some. I remember growing up. I grew up in Evans, so y'all were, we didn't. Nobody in Columbia County except that one year Evans made a run. We never were really good, had any really strong football programs as far as on the state level. So we always tried to claim Lincoln County because they were in the CSRA, Yeah. We'd always, let's go right up there and see what they're doing.
We had a lot of people coming from overseas, especially out of Columbia County and Richmond County, came to our games for a number of years. Some of them become pretty regular fans during all those years. Sure did.
Everybody likes a winner, so
Yeah, well,
y'all weren't hard to root for.
well,
And did such a great job up there, and it was just growing up. I mean, that's all you heard about. I had a kid that I went to school with. His name was Bo Leroy, and his family was from Lincolnton, and that's all.
yeah, I know
That's all he ever talked about.
I don't know that name in particular, but I had quite a few Leroys that played for me. And then the father of all those kids was on the state championship team here in the 60s before I came here. So I know all about the Leroy family here in Lincoln County.
Yeah, his real name was Brian Leroy, but he went by Bo. But Bo Leroy, that's all he talked about. And he'd tell us stories about how y'all had some trees at the end of the practice field that said defensive backs run around the trees, linebackers run through the trees, and all that. He used to tell us all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And when we were in middle school, and we believed it. We didn't know no
believe
better. The way y'all played, it looked like it was true.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, but no, none of that was true.
None of that was true. Well, Coach, what were the three, biggest principles of your programs? How did you get what was the standard for your program? Your philosophy, or as far as building your program?
Well, there's a lot more to coaching, period, than winning football games. So you always, and I think the fact that we continue to live here, I tried extremely hard to have an impact, not only just the football field, but in our community. And how well my kids or young men have went about and got college scholarships or graduated from places like Furman and some of these academic institutions is just about as important as winning state championships. When you've done it for so long, there's just a lot of fun memories, period.
So when you're a faith family, like what was your tenets for your program? Like, did y'all have anything that you put up and said, guys, this is what we're going to do? We always had something in our locker rooms and anywhere else we went. It was in this order. Faith, family, and football was a big thing that we always preached around here. I guess we were one of the few schools. I don't know that, but I grew up with a guy that taught me how to do it. And we never played a football game in my entire coaching career that we didn't have a devotional speaker come in and speak to our kids on their faith. I didn't do a great job of always living up to it, but I think a lot of my players did. So it meant a lot in the community that we were trying to teach something other than just football. That's absolutely correct. And
if you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
And the impact you had on young people. I mean, you had several players that went on to play, college football and professional baseball, and that's cool and everything, but you had a far greater impact on a larger number of people, imparting that faith and family and values and just spending time with young people.
Well, without a doubt, the Garrison Hurst and people of that stature, they made a name for themselves on what they did, not on what I did. But there are a lot of other kids that I think got something out of life due to going through our program. The good ones were going to be good regardless. I didn't make them any better than what they already were going to be. But there are a lot of SoCo kids that I think got a better education or learned a little bit more about life by going through our football program. I like to think they did anyway.
Well, Coach, we talk a lot about, especially in this Legend Series, a lot of guys talk about some of the things that's changed about high school football now that we don't necessarily like so much. And one is that it's gotten away from being an extracurricular activity. where football and athletics were supposed to provide extra things that the regular curriculum didn't provide, where you could teach them some life lessons that they weren't going to get in the classroom. Would you agree with that?
Oh, no doubt, Chris. It really does. I really, to this day, cannot believe, and I guess because Lincoln County got a taste of that a couple of years ago, actually only 1 year ago, but this NIL situation, it is horrible. We lost a great football player to a private school on an NIL deal that I think Lincoln County could have better possibly won the state championship last year, and he would have been a senior this year, so I feel sure we'd have won it with him this year. Some of the things that go on in football now, we didn't have to deal with, thank goodness. I have never, and it isn't that I hate private schools, by no means. There's a place for them. But I just don't see where public and private should be competing against one another, because you're dealing with two different animals, in my opinion. And we lost some big games to some good programs, like Savannah Christian and some people like that, where if we could have got by them, we would have had a chance of winning a couple more state championships, but we couldn't get by the private schools there for a while. And now with this NIL stuff, I'm glad I'm not coaching anymore. I just don't believe I'd want to go through that.
Yeah, it's rough, especially when you're at a rural, small rural school. You can't compete on the NIL. I mean, what are you going to offer them? A bag of Doritos and a Coca-Cola?
Yeah,
I mean that's about the best you can do
here. It's exactly right here, and I don't hold nothing against the folks who try to do better, but it's a whole different world out there now than it was when I was coaching. I'm glad I didn't have to face some of the stuff that they have to face now.
Oh, there ain't no doubt. And I just know that I know you came across this as long as you did it, that there was a bunch of youngins that came through your program that they needed Lincoln County football and your coaching staff a whole lot more than y'all needed them. And that y'all provided them with guidance and a place to go, to be around positive male role models that they wouldn't have got anywhere else. And, I don't know that kids gravitate toward that anymore these days.
No, it's hard to come by. It really is, and I still stay close to the program. They're very good to me. I don't miss a ball game, home or away. And one of our head coach now coached me a few years ago, and he's doing a great job here, and our program still continues to do some of the basic things that we did when I was here. I've been happy to sit him and watch him continue the program that we got, that I was following. I was lucky to follow a good program and a good person, and our coach now is doing a great job with it.
Well, let's talk about some of your assistant coaches that you had over the years. Your staff probably stayed together pretty much intact for a long time, didn't it?
Just about forever. I never lost a coach a whole lot to bigger schools or anything of that nature. Most of them are happy to be here, and we were going through some winning years, and I venture to say, I'm not like a Ray Lamb or some of these people that can name a list of coaches that coached for me that went on to big-time jobs, because most of them stayed here. Most of them stayed here with me, and a bunch of them retired here, and made Lincoln home. And they, I think of numerous ones that came here as an assistant coach who still live here. So, it's something about this little small town and the size of it, and their love for football, and it's right here on the lake, and 35, 40 minutes away from the Masters Golf Course, and it's just a great place to grow up and raise your children. And I've been fortunate to hang on to a lot of my assistants for a long time.
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Coach Hostetler the other night, and he said that he had 16 coaches his whole career. Only 16, and that blew me away. I mean, this day and time, that's unheard of.
I would say this. roughly the same number, maybe actually probably a little less. Sure would. I just didn't have many coaches moving. The few that I had were moving up to better jobs. Other than that, I very seldom ever lost a coach except for a better position.
And neither one of you would say it because you're the kind of men you are, but that's also a testament to you as a coach. They didn't want to leave you. You know, you had to have been doing something that they wanted to be around other than just Lincolnton. And, you know, you like being around, you know, good bosses, and you had to have been a good boss for them to want to stay with you that long. You won't say it, but I'll say it.
Well, I thank you, sir, but I'm sure if you ask a number, I may disagree with you, but they don't have the phone in their hand right now, so I can say whatever I want to say, and they can't. Yeah.
That's right. Well, I know, you know, you already mentioned a few of the coaches, but are there any guys that you remember over the years, other coaches that you had real close friendships with, that you enjoyed competing against, that you tried to beat each other's brains in, but after the game you'd hug on them and ride to the clinic or hang out together and fish or whatever and ride horses or, you know, do whatever?
Well, you know, I ride horses, apparently. I used to. I can't get on one no more, but I used to love it back during my heyday. But, you know, I always hung around with the damn pitchers and the Ray Lambs, and I'd visit their practices on numerous occasions to try to learn things. I didn't learn a whole lot from Coach Pitts because he done it all. It didn't do much good being an assistant coach on Dan. I went to his practices on numerous occasions because Dan grew up here in Lincoln, and he coached just about every position. So, you know, it's quite an honor to work with people like him and Coach Lamb and some of those folks that did it a little differently, but yet had a whole lot of success. And I've had coaching staffs where I coached in the Georgia-Florida game with the likes of Mike Hodges and some of all those folks. And I guess the only one that I can think of we've lost during all that tenure that were bitter rivalries was Butch Brooks. Butch was at Washington Wilkes for a number of years and had a lot of good football teams. So we used to have a tremendous rivalry there. And Pitts, I could go on. We don't have enough time for me to tell damn Pitts stories. But, and I still talk with Ray periodically. I sure do. I keep up with Ray as best I can. He's still a joy to talk to. And, of course, Luther Welch was right up the road in Thompson, Georgia, and he always had a good program. So I enjoyed the relationship I had with Luther. And I had already mentioned Steve Pennington, and when he was at Louisville, we had a close relationship.
Yeah, that's something these younger coaches, I think some of them are missing out on with the huddle. They don't have to go swap film or go get the reel made or anything, and they don't get to hang out in parking lots and at the McDonald's and eat a biscuit.
Meet on Saturday morning, swapping films, and send them wives to go get them and whatever. It was something else. Years ago, I remember in Augusta, you growing up in that area, you'd had to go out there. You're probably not old enough to have to ever take film down to Ed Malone there in Augusta to get your film. We'd come in from a football game, and then we'd have to take off to Ed Malone's in Augusta. He worked somehow in connection with Channel 6, and he developed all the local high school football teams' films. So we'd get in at, say, 12 o'clock or so, and my wife and I would drive to Augusta and sit and get in line. And it'd be 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning before you got home with the film. And you had a lot of work to do to get ready. Because your kids normally were coming in at 9 o'clock for a film session. So you'd go just about without sleep a lot of Friday nights.
Mm-hmm. And being in Augusta, being right there on the river, you had all them Carolina schools. I imagine they were lining up trying to get their film too.
Oh, yeah. There'd be at least 10 or so of us that was doing our best to get the film. You try to get there as quick as you could and get in line to beat all those folks. Sure did.
Yeah, and that was a good time to visit with other coaches and, you know,
it was
talk about what went on that night or, And that just don't happen no more. There ain't as much
No,
fellowship.
you miss out on all that. You do miss out on a lot of that.
And that's something that's changed that I miss. That, you know, you tried to kill each other while you were out there, but you still, you know, you still going to be buddies when it's all said and done. With some more than others, but, you know.
It truly amazes me now to go watch our coaches work and how they can pull up every game film, you know, on the huddle counts and all this, that, and the other. That solves a lot of the problems that we used to have. Was traveling all over the place to get films, this, that, and the other. In most cases, people never did want to swap more than one, or possibly two films. I always liked to try to get as many as I could get, so I did a lot of traveling back there in my time, trying to get as many films on people as I could get before I played them. But you had a lot of camaraderie with each other that we don't have now.
Yeah, that was something else. Well, Coach, I know you said you don't ride horses no more, but you used to be a big trail rider. That was something else we did day during the interview. You took me to your horse guy, and you said, you like to ride horses? Because I like to go trail riding.
Yeah, I love trail ride back during the day. I still have a farming background. My dad was a farmer, and he had a few cattle back here, and I took up that habit, and I own my own farm, and I raise black Angus cattle now, and that's what I do in my spare time, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And then Wednesday afternoon, I can be at a cow sale trying to buy cattle and trade cattle and do whatever in that business. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's helped me keep going, give me something to do.
And you said every Tuesday night there was a men's group in Lincolnton that cooked dinner for the coaches, and you asked me if I like bluegrass music. I said, I sure do. And you said, well, they play bluegrass too. And you said, well, you're going to enjoy that. Yeah,
I'm right here on, most of these folks that's listening here would know what I'm talking about, but little Roy Lewis and all the Lewis family crowd from Lincolnton. I live right on that road. Lewis Family Road's what I live on. And, boy, you talk about singing and still doing music. They still have it. We'll have, right behind my home here, we'll have two huge shows with Jeff and Sherry. Easter would be one of them. I mean, big name people that come in here and stay for 4 days, bring their campers and stay here. And they have music in every direction. Some pretty big time people come here, and it's something to enjoy in small Lincoln County.
And I know you just got back from a trip, so traveling must have turned into something you enjoy doing a little bit. Miss Connie gets you piled up and takes you places, or makes you take her places, or your kids take you places.
You got it right. It makes me go. Yeah, she does. My wife was an airline stewardess for Delta when I took this job, and I'll never forget when I brought her through Lincoln, Georgia. I said, Connie, this is where I'm going to take my first job. What do you think? She said, well, I can live anywhere for a year. Let's see, 50, we just celebrated 55, so 55 marriage years later, she's still here. So,
well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Most was a good fit for both of us.
Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and spending time and sharing with us your story, and just that day you spent with me that you didn't have to, the 8 hours that I got to hang out with Coach Larry Campbell and didn't talk a lick about football, but learned a lot about life and really shaped me as a young coach. It was only my second year into coaching, and I'll never forget that day as long as I live, just from learning where I was going to buy my groceries and where I was going to go to church and where I was going to get gas. And the third thing you told me was, and you're going to pay your bill at the end of every month. I'm going to fire you for that if you don't.
Well, I laid out some ground rules.
Yeah, you made it abundantly clear that I was not going to do anything that embarrassed you or the football program. And I said, yes, sir. And I was ready to go. And it was a delight. But Coach, the impact that you've had on on not just the young people of Lincoln County, but just everybody that you've come into contact with. I hope you know how huge that's been, and I sure do appreciate you coming on and sharing with
Chris,
us.
I enjoy it. I'd do anything to help anybody in the business whatsoever. Of course, I don't get asked that anymore. Naturally, the game has bypassed most of us by now, but it's still, I love it. I still go to all our games, and I'll go to playoff games, and I still have as much contact. I'll try to get to George's practice and still when I'm able. Those days are just about to leave me on with my legs getting in pretty bad shape with age, and my memory's slipping. You had to help me a lot through this thing, and Chris, I appreciate it. And if I can ever do anything for you, you just holler at me, and I'll be glad to help out.
Well, thanks so much, Coach.
Okay, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. You know what's slower than a pace car? Waiting at the car wash. That's when I fire up Chumba Casino. It turns those slow minutes into fast fun. With new games every week, you'll never get bored. Next time you're stuck in the slow lane, speed up with Chumba. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.